I'm your secret friend. Any of this mean anything to you?
You're becoming quite a celebrity. Why is he writing to you?
Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year. You made it to 2021. This is going to be my new Batman video about the new Batman movies. There was a big announcement about all these multiverse plans that DC has. The president of DC Films did a big interview where he explained what their grand plan is for future Batman movies. So we'll break it down because there was a lot of confusion about who's going to be the new main Batman of DC movies. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. They're still filming the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson right now. They're going to be filming the Flash movie with Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton's Batman really soon too. So pretty soon there's going to be 3 versions of Batman flying around. We'll do a new giveaway for HBO Max subscriptions. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know which new version of Batman, which new Batman movie you're most hyped up about. But if you have no idea what's going on, this last week there were a bunch of news sites reporting that the future main Batman of the DCEU movies was going to be Michael Keaton's Batman, and he was supposed to replace Ben Affleck's Batman. So naturally, a bunch of Ben Affleck Batman fans were freaking out, like, wait a minute, they told us they weren't going to retcon Ben Affleck's Batman out of the DCEU. What's going on? There was so much confusion. But a couple days after all the news sites started reporting this, the original person who wrote the article that everyone had been sourcing as part of this Michael Keaton Batman claim came out and said that everybody had gotten it wrong and completely misinterpreted what he was saying. So originally what happened is the New York Times article posted about the future DC movies in general. They did a big interview with Walter Hamada, who's the president of DC movies, kind of in charge of the DC cinematic universe, of all the movies they're doing, even the movies that aren't connected to the other DC movies. A lot of that article focuses on the way they're changing their plans about all the DC movies and the big budget HBO shows that they're in the middle of making right now. Like they have the Suicide Squad HBO series with John Cena, they have the Green Lantern HBO series, all the other HBO series that they have not announced yet but that they're working on. Matt Reeves is even making a Batman HBO series that's going to be a spin-off of his Batman movies with Robert Pattinson. So in the article, Walter Hamada basically says yes, they do have plans going forward to use the concept of the DC multiverse that they're introducing in the Flashpoint movie to explain how they can have multiple different versions of Batman making new movies at the same time. Because previously, for the last 40, 50, 60 years, ever since they've started making Batman projects, there's always just been one version of Batman on screen, whether it be TVs like Adam West's Batman or the movies like Michael Keaton's Batman, at any one time. That's why you never saw Batman showing up in the CW shows while they were working on the Dark Knight trilogy. Christopher Nolan himself actually put the banhammer on that. He's like, please do not have other versions of Batman going around while I'm working on my Dark Knight trilogy. If you're a big fan of Tom Welling's Superman on Smallville back in the day, the whole reason why they did his show was because originally they had wanted to do a young Batman TV show, but because they were spinning up with the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, he's like, please don't do that. That's why they pivoted to Superman. But the whole reason for this big DC multiverse plan, as you probably guessed it, is mostly because the brand new Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman movie, is supposed to be set in an alternate universe. Matt Reeves didn't want to cross over with the other Justice League actors in the other movies right now. But DC wants to continue doing Batman crossovers with other actors because they make so much more money on those kinds of movies. They want to do more Justice League movies, and they can't do that with Robert Pattinson's Batman, so they needed another Batman to do that with. And Ben Affleck had already announced that he was not going to be Batman anymore. Thus, you have them going back to Michael Keaton Batman to come back.
What do we have here?
But Ben Affleck is going to be in the Flash movie. He's also going to be in the Justice League Snyder Cut, of course. We're going to see that in a couple months. They're doing a version of Flashpoint. Batman is very important to the idea of Flashpoint. But they're considering Matt Reeves' Batman movies with Robert Pattinson a completely separate Batman franchise from what's happening with the regular DCEU interconnected movies with Michael Keaton now and Ben Affleck's Batman. So because this was also confusing in that original article in the New York Times, people were asking, who is the new main Batman going to be if you have all these three different versions of Batman? Is Ben Affleck's Batman going to be retconned out? Is he still going to be the main Batman of the DCEU? How are they going to treat Michael Keaton's Batman when he comes into these movies? His one-word answer was just Keaton, so that's why you saw all the articles, people posting saying Michael Keaton was going to be the new main Batman of all the DC movies. But a few days after that, the same reporter chimed back in claiming that everyone had completely misinterpreted the Michael Keaton statement. He said that he was only trying to say that Michael Keaton was going to be the main Batman for the Flash movie that they announced that he was going to be in formally. And that at least right now, there's no official plan that they're ready to announce in place for him to be the new overall main Batman of DC movies, or the interconnected DC movies going forward. Normally you would assume, though, that the main new Batman would be the brand new Batman actor that they cast, who is Robert Pattinson, but when Matt Reeves signed on to do the Batman movie, develop it before he ever cast Robert Pattinson, part of his deal basically gave him carte blanche to do whatever he wanted to, so he said he wanted to do a completely self-contained version of Batman. He didn't want to have to deal with all the other movies, all that extra story baggage. He just wanted to do his own little thing, his own little bubble of continuity. So because DC wanted a crossover Batman, their solution to that was to go back to Michael Keaton, like, what'll get fans really excited to go see these movies? What's a really cool version of Batman that we could go back to? Well, Michael Keaton Batman was pretty popular. Let's go get him to come back. When he was first announced, though, they also did say that part of the idea is they would have him cross over in other future movies, but I think the part that hasn't been decided yet is exactly which other movies after the Flash movie he would appear in. Like, everyone would love to see live-action Batman Beyond, and it does sound like they also want to do that at DC and Warner Brothers if things work out, but as far as Michael Keaton has said, he said that they have a lot of cool things going on behind the scenes. We'll see if it works out. As in, they're still negotiating over the timing of everything, what he's going to get paid. Because if he's going to be doing a bunch of Batman movies in the future, a bunch of crossover movies, even if he's not the main character in them, he is still going to get paid bank. The funny thing about Matt Reeves' Batman movies, though, is that we all saw the set footage of the people in the Halloween costumes for Superman and Wonder Woman, other Justice League characters, but the version of the Superman costume that was spotted was the Christopher Reeve version, and that movie is confirmed to take place relatively close to present day, like iPhones were spotted on set and scenes. This Lincoln Navigator that the Riddler crashes into the old mayor's funeral is also a late model from relatively recently. So clearly Matt Reeves isn't afraid of invoking the other big Justice League DC characters. I think it's just the idea that he's not completely ready to do full-blown crossovers yet. So it's probably going to be a long time before you hear about Robert Pattinson's Batman crossing over with other movies, if that ever winds up happening. But again, that's why they're leaning on the multiverse so hard, so that when they do get to that next Justice League movie, if their deal with Michael Keaton doesn't work out the way they want it to, if he says no to appearing in those other movies after the Flash movie, then they can go back to Robert Pattinson and say, hey, we really want you to do this, we'll give you all this extra money. And they could just have the Flash travel to the other Earth and pull Batman into their movie, then at the end of that, he goes back to his Earth for other Matt Reeves Batman movies. There were a lot of people reporting on social media that Robert Pattinson's Earth is going to be Earth 2 in the DC multiverse, but I don't think that they've given it an official designation. It's just not going to be the main Earth of the DC interconnected movies. The other news that was reported as part of this big New York Times article is that Ben Affleck's last movie is supposed to be the Flash movie right now, but it didn't say that he would never come back. It just says that right now there's formally no plans for him to do more Batman projects after the Flash movie. And Zack Snyder clarified what's happening with the Justice League Snyder Cut in the 5 potential sequels that he had planned. Like, he said he had a big 5-movie plan, so there were other Justice League movies that he originally intended on making. In his own words, he says that he has no plans to continue with the Justice League Snyder Cut 2 with sequels in this storyline universe. So the Justice League Snyder Cut that we see in March, just in a couple months, we'll get a new trailer for that really soon, is going to be the last big Justice League story that he intends on telling, at least right now. Kevin Smith was reporting that it's supposed to end on a really big cliffhanger type of moment, so it could continue in sequels. So I think never say never, but at least based on what Zack Snyder is saying right now, don't hold your breath on him doing the stories that he originally intended on doing in his Justice League sequels. They will do Justice League sequels, but it'll probably be somebody else to come in and do those, and the story will be different. But that doesn't mean that he'll never do more DC movies or DC projects like other HBO series. He could always come back and do an HBO series set in the Snyderverse. It's just that right now, in the near future, the next couple of years, there's no current plan for that in place. They will be filming the Flash movie with Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck really soon, so we'll start seeing footage of them together, hopefully on set, and I'll do videos for whatever winds up happening. Zack Snyder said that they already have a pretty clear plan for what their rollout for the Justice League Snyder Cut's going to be, and they're going to start making more noise about that probably at the end of this month. So there will be a bunch more big trailers for that dropping really soon. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening this week, so I'll try to get those videos out as fast as possible. Make sure you have alerts turned on for my channel so you don't miss any of that stuff. While you wait for everything, click here for that new Deadpool 3 Ryan Reynolds video that he just posted, and click here for that Wonder Woman 1984 post-credit scene. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and Happy New Year!